Alrighty, hello everyone for the final time. It is the finals. My name is Zach.
I'm Ben again.
Again, we're back. Original duo from casting. Though we did enjoy having Mitchell here for us. We are here for the finals of the CardArt local at Sunnyvale, California. We've got two players we've had on stream before. AJ, we just saw in the top four, going up against Jourdan, who we saw narrowly lose to the Yuxi team on stream in round three, I believe it was. Honestly, one of the best sets I've seen in a long time. That was a fantastic set. So if those two, the previous stream games are anything to go by, this is going to be a fantastic match. Both of these players are local Premier Challenge champions, but they have not won in this exact venue before. So one of them is going to be able to winner here for the very first time. Aaron's final cameo of his hand, thank goodness. And let's dive in and look at these teams real quick because they are both in team preview.
Yeah, we're not going to have a ton of time for team preview here. AJ's team, the Hisui and Lilligant, the Hatterene, Indeedee, Ursaluna, Torkoal, and Armarouge. Up against Jourdan's Iron Bundle, Gholdengo, Urshifu, that is going to be
Single strike.
The single strike variant, Rillaboom, Grimmsnarl, and that Landorus-Therian.
Yeah, so name of the game with AJ's team is set up Trick Room and blow things up with eruption and earthquakes and expanding forces and dazzling gleams. And Jordan's main goal is to make sure that does not happen. He does have a lot of tools to help with that. Gholdengo is going to be annoying for the expanding force, as well as the Urshifu. Grimmsnarl does not have screens in this particular case. It does have its prankster moves might not be as useful with psychic terrain stopping most of those. But Rillaboom could turn off the psychic terrain with its grassy terrain. Iron Bundle might be a little bit hard to bring in this matchup given the speed of everything. And yeah, so it'll be definitely an interesting matchup here. I think it's going to be onto Jourdan to slow the roll of everything here.
You do see the leads come out here. AJ leading off with the Hatterene Indeedee, and Jourdan leading off with the Gholdengo and the Grimmsnarl. It's hard to not see light screen immediately in the future here, but Gholdengo's options are a bit more open.
Yeah, this Grimmsnarl is not one of the screens. It's not the screens variant we saw previously.
Oh, that's right. This is the very offensive Grimmsnarl.
This one's going to be going for spirit breaks right out the gate here, and Gholdengo is going to be really well positioned in front of these two in particular. Though the opportunity for at least one of Ursaluna, Torkoal, or Armarouge in the back is definitely going to be something that Gholdengo is not pleased with, but for now it's sitting pretty.
Hatterene does also have access to that Terra Water, which would keep it safe from any potential big make it rains. Grimmsnarl just going to switch out here, though, not going on the offense just yet. Landorus going to switch in here, get a pretty low value Intimidate, honestly.
Pretty meaningless.
But it will take Make It Rain better than Grimmsnarl would. Sorry, that's not relevant at all. Why did I say that? It's Assault Vest. It will take special hits better.
It'll take the dazzling gleams from these two a little bit better. We do see Hatterene sort of forced by the Gholdengo to go for the Terra Water right off the bat. So to minimize the damage it takes from both attacks, really, the dazzling, the Make It Rain, and the Shadow Ball. So the Indeedee going to keep it safe from a potential Shadow Ball with the Follow Me, but not going to be what this Gholdengo goes for. Just going to be the Choice Specs Make It Rain, doing a sizable chunk to Indeedee and a little bit less than half to Hatterene, as it does set up the Trick Room. So step one of AJ's game plan, set up Trick Room, check.
Trick Room has been set up, and Hatterene is in a way better spot than it would have been if it had not terastallized, considering it is still on the field. And exerting, I think, a good amount of offensive pressure here is going to be able to hit Landers for a good amount of damage, considering Psychic Terrain is up. Doesn't really have great tools with which to hit the Gholdengo. It does have access to that Terra Blast with solid damage, but otherwise Gholdengo defensively is in a pretty solid spot.
Yeah, but it's not doing a lot of offense either. Like, the best thing it can do is KO Indeedee, which I think at this point AJ kind of wants that to happen. And with a Follow Me can almost ensure that happens. So Gholdengo going to preserve its special attack for later, and is going to switch into the Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl would take a Psychic a little bit better, but I feel like Dazzling Gleam is probably going to be the option here. When you see a helping hand from the Hatterene, see what option the Hatterene goes for. You're going to be the Psychic, but it's into the Landorus. Does a ton of damage, but Landorus does hang on.
Landorus critically able to survive that assault vest. It's clinging onto that assault vest with every bit of strength that it has. Rock Slide coming out doing just a bit of chip to the opposing side. AJ still very much in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, this is still a tricky spot. We see that Jourdan did not bring that Rillaboom, so there's no way of turning off the Psychic Terrain. So Grimmsnarl is kind of just not really doing a whole lot here. It can Spirit Break, but all the other moves are just useless because of the Psychic Terrain.
I would like to call out that Scary Face not actually useless here.
Oh, that's true.
He could Scary Face his own Landorus, and then maybe Landorus is able to underspeed these two, but as we saw, Rock Slide didn't do that much damage, and Landorus is typically trained to be on the faster side, so I wouldn't bank on that being the best play here. But it is an option.
It's definitely an option, something that is a little bit hard. AJ's probably not, it's probably not on the forefront of her mind at this point, but Indeedee is actually going to be preserved for a little bit later. Going to be switching in Torkoal, the Sinnoh champion, going to get onto the field and going to be able to threaten a ton of damage with an eruption here. Potentially thinking, all right, well, if Hatterene covers the Landorus, so it can't go for an attack onto the Torkoal with a Rock Slide or something, Torkoal should be able to switch in here relatively safely. We saw that Jourdan did hover over the Terra Fire option on Grimmsnarl, doesn't go for it, gets punished with a ton of damage from that Life Orb Dazzling Gleam from Hatterene, but the Spirit Break onto Torkoal on the switch-in is pretty good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good call to make. Doesn't do a ton of damage to Torkoal, but the special attack drop is really big. Anything you can take to weaken eruptions that'll be coming out, you definitely want to go for.
Absolutely. Another thing to notice that this Gholdengo has the Terra Steel option, as most of them do when they are holding that choice spec, so there's no way for it to really survive an eruption here. So Trick Room turns are dwindling down. We can see that there's 2 of them left, so Torkoal's got 2 big eruptions left, but what does Jourdan have to deal with that?
Looking at the Pokemon in the back, I'd say not a whole lot.
And Grimmsnarl wishes it could set light screen right now.
I think Grimmsnarl is regretting not going for the Terra Fire on the previous turn.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because it's taken way too much damage. It's now not going to be worthwhile to go for it. And Jourdan's saying, okay, you know what, that's fine. I'm just going to forfeit Grimmsnarl and Gholdengo and see what I can do with my 2 in the back.
Yep, Gholdengo is both are moved from the field, but we know what's in the back. Like a Psychic hits into nothing, right? Is that it's Landorus, which is on, 8 HP, so that's not really that relevant. And the Terra Dark Urshifu, which is choice banned. Neither of these Pokemon can protect on the crucial last turn of Trick Room, right?
Right, and Psychic Terrain is crucially still up, so Sucker Punch is off the table as well. This is looking really, really rough for Jourdan. AJ's game plan of set up Trick Room and then proceed to win the game is going perfectly so far.
Yeah, like the Spirit Break weakened the eruption, but not enough for it to matter. I can't imagine a Dazzling Gleam and eruption not just, sealing this game for AJ.
No, I think Jourdan needed just one more turn. Just one more turn to stall out that Trick Room, that Sun. Well, not the Sun. That Trick Room, critically the Psychic Terrain. The fact that Sucker Punch is not on the table means that Hatterene is free to just go for damage on this turn. You do see a Terra coming out from Jourdan's side onto the Urshifu. Just one last-ditch effort to try to make it through this turn.
If there's any way for this to happen, it's going to be with taking less damage from Dazzling Gleam. Torkoal does go for the eruption at -1 with specs. That's enough. Hatterene doesn't even need to be here. Torkoal's got this.
Torkoal's got it. -1 doesn't matter. Eruption is just such a strong move. Boosted by Sun and Stab. Yeah, that's going to be enough. And Landorus was at 8 HP. It was not going to survive that.
Yeah, KOing that's not impressive, but yeah, getting the KO on that full health Urshifu, that is huge. And that's a quick win for AJ here. That was... Ooh.
That was fast. For a Trick Room team, it's funny. Trick Room teams, you think, oh, they're slow. But when they're operating optimally, they're incredibly fast.
Yeah, the speed stats are slow. The pace of the game is very quick, though.
No, their intent is to accelerate the game.
By going so slow. Yeah.
By going so slow that they go fast.
Yeah, exactly. You got it. Perfect. Okay, yeah.
It was kind of just Trick Room went up, and then the game just came to a point where it was unsalvageable.
Yeah, it was just Trick Room go Bird. Like that. So Jourdan really has to. I think he's definitely kicking himself for not Terra firing the Grimmsnarl. That could have been a real roadblock, I think.
I think it definitely would have helped, but then you open yourself up to psychics and psychic terrain.
Yeah.
And Grimmsnarl doesn't want to take those either.
It's definitely true. I think if there's,
I think it's rough for him either way. I feel like it's tough because Rillaboom wants to come, but it doesn't want to sit in front of Torkoal
or Armarouge.
or Armarouge. But
I think it almost has to though, right?
That's
like,
the only way to change the terrain.
Yeah, I think Rillaboom kind of has to come. I don't know, like you need one of Grimmsnarl or Urshifu. You want a dark type, right? That seems very important. That seems kind of important for dealing with the expanding force. But did Armarouge even show up?
No, I don't think there was an Armarouge.
No, it didn't.
It didn't need to be.
Yeah, it was just Indeedee, Hatterene, and Torkoal kind of cleaned up everything. So that's the other thing is Jourdan doesn't know what's in the back, what was potentially in the back for AJ. So it makes this even more difficult. But it's here, game 2.
Getting into game 2.
Yeah, Jourdan's tournament life is on the line. One more win for AJ, and she will be the champion here. So we'll see if Jourdan can push this into a game 3. These leads are going to be really important here. Hatterene and Indeedee once again, and the Grimmsnarl Gholdengo lead once again for Jourdan. Something's got to make this go better than last time.
Something's got to go differently than last time, I think. You've got to... I don't know exactly what you do here, considering that Hatterene can go for Terra Water, and it doing that last game was not punished at all, really.
Yeah, it's really tricky where, like, yeah, it's... Maybe this is where the potential Rillaboom switching is pretty impactful. Like, just immediately removing the Psychic Train could be impactful. Gholdengo is still in a good spot for now, but, you know, as soon as that Torkoal comes in, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, Torkoal's going to... I mean, it'll take a Make It Rain. It'll hurt, but it'll take it, and it'll fire back, doing way more damage than Gholdengo will do to it. We do see a Terrestrialization turn 1, and gives the Terra Water on Hatterene, which makes a lot of sense, right?
Terra Water, once again makes sense, but in this case, Jourdan did bring the Rillaboom, so is able to potentially punish that in the future as, yep, Indeedee just going for a safe follow me, keep Hatterene safe, makes sense.
Make It Rain coming out from Gholdengo here, doing about as much damage as it did last time. Putting Indeedee under half, putting Hatterene just above half. Spirit Break going into Indeedee, that's going to KO it. What if Trick Room is coming out on this Hatterene, which it probably is? That's just a free switch in for Gholdengo. Or sorry, excuse me, Torkoal.
Yeah, so hooray, you got the KO, but you know that might just be playing right into AJ's hand here, where it's like, all right, cool, I get a free switch into Torkoal. Trick Room just got set up. I will now proceed to click Eruption and Dazzling Gleam, and everything will fall apart. I think that's what's gonna happen.
I don't see anything immediately stopping that. Even if Rillaboom is in the back, you don't want to switch Rillaboom into Sun-boosted Eruption.
Absolutely not. No, this Rillaboom is Terra Water, so that would be a very nice option, but you have to get Rillaboom onto the field safely before it can Terrestrialize, and that might be... that's a little bit harder than it is to say.
Yeah, it's... Game 2, Jourdan's in still a really hard position compared to Game 1. You see
it's even worse than Game 1.
It's arguably even worse, yeah, because now AJ has the full 4 turns of Trick Room to work with, and Torkoal is safely on the field and didn't have to eat a Spirit Break on the way in.
That's really rough spot where we are going to see a Terra from Jourdan here. It's going to be, I believe, the Terra onto the Grimmsnarl, sort of regretting that, you know, it didn't work out last time, but I mean, this is what he kind of needs to do to not just fold to Eruption immediately. But Gholdengo did not switch out, so it's definitely going to fold to that Eruption.
Yeah, Gholdengo, sort of the sacrificial stack of money here, definitely going to go
The down payment on this win.
the down payment on a potential win for Jourdan here. Gholdengo definitely going to go down here. Eruption still doing a lot of damage to Grimmsnarl and the Terra Blast callouts.
The Terra Water, Terra Blast is the nice option coverage there. Going to cover for the Terra Fire, saying, okay, you're either going to Terra Fire to survive Eruption, but then you're going to be even the Sun weak enough to that Terra Water, Terra Blast to get the KO there. So that's 2 clean knockouts. Still 3 more turns of Trick Room if I've been counting correctly. Rillaboom does get Fake Out pressure. That is very big here. Because the Psychic Train has been removed, Indeedee's gone off the field. If anything's going to happen, it's going to be this turn.
yeah, it's not over. Things are still really rough for Jourdan. Intimidate comes out, doesn't, to be honest, doesn't help him at all.
Doesn't matter
here. But Landorus at least is exerting a good amount of pressure, is going to do a good amount of damage to the Torkoal. Threatens, and Rillaboom threatening the Hatterene as well, but Rillaboom can't fake out a Woodhammer on the same turn.
No, I think, yeah, Jourdan's got to be sort of angling to, got to go double, you have to double into this Torkoal, I think, where like Hatterene, you can survive an attack from Hatterene. In the sun, Landorus definitely survives a Terra Water, Terra Blast, and without the Psychic Terrain, it definitely survives a Psychic, and Dazzling Gleam's not going to do that much. Kind of got to be that, and so yeah, AJ very much expecting that, just switching Torkoal out, keeping it safe. Armarouge is going to be able to take this not much better, but keeping Torkoal safe is super important.
Yeah, keeping Torkoal around so that it can fire off damage into the Rillaboom for later is important. Psychic into Landorus still does almost half. Even without terrain, even with the Assault Vest, that's the power of Life Orb Hatterene. Stomping Tantrum going into Armarouge, not quite enough to pick it up, and Trick Room is still in play.
Yep, 2 more turns of Trick Room here. The Grassy Train going to heal up Armarouge and Hatterene just a little bit here. Ooh, this is still a tricky spot. I think it's kind of better that AJ did not, or that Jourdan did not get the KO on Armarouge there. Like, if Torkoal just comes back in, then the game's kind of over immediately, so not getting that KO is important here. There's still 2 more turns of Trick Room. Jourdan could still do this. This Rillaboom does have Protect. Landorus doesn't, but we saw how much damage that it does take. The sun is up, so Armarouge can do a ton of damage with Heat Wave, but Heat Wave can always miss.
I think if you're Jourdan, you might have to be banking on a Heat Wave miss here. Otherwise, I don't see a future where Landorus survives this turn, and then it's Torkoal Torkoal and Hatterene and Armarouge versus Rillaboom, and Rillaboom, not great odds for Rillaboom, and Heat Wave just double connects there, and that's going to end the game.
That's going to end the game. AJ is crowned the champion. Very well played set. Trick Room pulled off to a T there. Excellently played. Wonderful played. AJ is the champion, and little known fact, when driving to the venue today, AJ forgot her Switch. She borrowed someone else's Switch, got a random rental code, and won the whole event.
Never give up.
Never give up.
Never give up.
Wow.
Even if you haven't started playing it.
Yeah. So, was able to, like, she's used Trick Room teams in the past. I have myself a loss to her expertly played Trick Room teams in the past. So, taking a known rental Trick Room team and just never used before and taking it all the way, very impressive.
Definitely very impressive. Also impressive to note that this team has a single Protect on it. If things go poorly for you with this team, it's going to be difficult to weasel out of, but it looks like she didn't have too much trouble.
Nope. Pulled off, got the victory. Very impressive. Of course, commiserations to Jourdan. He played excellently. It's very sad that I think his 2 only losses were the ones that we had on stream, but promise, he did play really well. We saw that.
He made it to finals.
He made it to finals, of course. You can't be bad and make it to finals. That's how it goes. But again, really well played. That very tough for Jourdan to play out of that. But yeah, I think AJ just highlighted that perfectly. So wonderful, wonderful set. But
I think absolutely. And just think about it. If I'm at a loss for words here.
do you need a moment to think about it?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
If you just think, if you want to come to one of these tournaments and win the whole thing after losing your Switch and finding a rental team that you've never played before, you can maybe do that.
You can. Go ahead. If you are in the area, go ahead and join the NorCal Discord. We are on Twitter at NorCal VGC. We'd love to have you. These are awesome, wonderful events with a bunch of great people. We have wonderful TOs, wonderful judges, everything. It's a wonderful time to be here. So if you're at all interested, go ahead and join that. Find out where our next one is. We will have PC locals coming back in October, most likely. So stay tuned for that. But for that, that's all of us here at the CardArt Card Shop in Sunnyvale, California. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all in October.
Bye-bye.